Hello racing fans, this is Anthony with BBSN and we are back for race number 3 of the 2018 SCRAM season using red, white, and blue racing. Quickly becoming a very addicting game to me, and tonight we will be racing in the Suncoast Capital 400, and this race takes place at Sun King Speedway in Florida. And before we get started with the race week activities, a quick update on where we are after 2 races. As you can see, our leaderboard, Vic Holder, kind of a minor surprise, and Clark Snook currently hold the points lead with 170 apiece. Neither has won a race, but both have 2 top 10 finishes. In 3rd place, the winner of our opener, the Copper State 500, Stu Urich with 160. Sonny Swain, another surprise in making somewhat of a resurgence this season thus far. Sonny has already been featured on a special and is currently sitting in 4th place, also with 2 top 10 finishes with 155 points. Trevor Trostel, 2 top 10 finishes as well as a pole position. And last week's race winner, Joey Plonka, who took the Ice Brew 600 on the Northern Lights Motordome, and again more affectionately known as the Minnesota Wrecking Yard. And there was definitely a huge pileup in that race that cost 5 drivers spots in the field, and it did not finish. And Plonka had a poor finish in the opener, so he sits down the list a little bit in 7th or 8th place with 120 points. So there are the rest of the field. And just some notables here. Going down, Marlon McGarry, who was expected to be one of the contenders, he's sitting about mid-table, only 55 points, no finishes in the top 10. And Lonnie Lane, who kind of shocked the world and took the pole in the Copper State 500, only has 40 or 36 points. And going down, we see some drivers affected by did not finish results. KJ Nakashima, surprisingly in that group as well, Jordy Pettis, who still did well enough in the first race that he's up hovering close to the top 10. And some drivers down here on the bottom, Nick Fenstermacher, Donnie Schrupp, Mooch Thomas, Chase Fetterman, all drivers who have attempted to qualify in both races and have come up short, as well as Corey Wallace. So we'll see how that turns out in this race and see if some of them can get back and get in on some money. So before we start with race week activities, and this is a longer race, this is a 40-turn race, so this will be a 2-part video. Otherwise, I don't think going on over 2 hours is very efficient for a video basically of this type. So we'll break this up into 2 parts, do race week and do 10 to 15 laps this first turn, and then come back and finish the remaining 25 to 30 laps in part 2. So for TV drivers, starting off last week's winner, as is customary, Joey Plonka is one of our TV drivers. And Craig Greco, he gets the other spot. And Greco, it's interesting, he's been around a little bit and revamped his pit crew in the off season, and the pit crew is really making a difference here, as he currently sits in the top 10 in points, checking in at number 7 with 120 points, and he has 1 top 10 finish. So Greco kind of making a name for himself once again behind a much improved pit crew, which is a rating of A. So a special was done behind the scenes in the pits of Greg Greco on race week. So those will be 2 of our TV drivers. And we had a total of 9 TV drivers for this race, so there will be 7 more. And I already shuffled these, and I shouldn't have looked and saw that Kerry Cacchiolo was at the bottom, so we'll just do a quick mini shuffle and a cut here and pull 7 more drivers. So first up, and automatically getting the gold trophy if they do not have one, which they do not, is Denny Baker. Stu Urich gets back in the TV slot, and he was in TV driver last week due to winning the first race. The Alabama Badman, Billy Brett, gets the third slot, and Chase Fetterman, who has not qualified in either of the first two races, snags a coveted TV spot. Next up, number 5 is Alex Hodge, 2 more to go, and Clark Snook back in the TV money, and KJ Nakashima, another racer who has struggled the first 2 weeks out. So KJ, Billy Brett, and Chase Fetterman, this benefits them immensely, and we will promptly replace their cards with TV driver cards and then get to rolling. Snook, he's kind of becoming a regular on the TV circuit as well thus far, which is understandable since he is currently tied for the lead in points after 2 events. And then everyone else is down in the pack a bit. And no change in starters to our last race, so all the familiar names will be in, and none of the teams with multiple drivers made switches. So Alex Hodge and Brett and Fetterman. And there's Hodge in the black gold car. The rambunctious Billy Brett and the youngster Chase Fetterman, obviously doing special this week for the cameras on the difficulties of qualifying as a young driver on the SCRAM circuit. So our TV crew is set, and let's see how they qualify. And we will go in this exact order here. So with the gold trophy rolling first, Denny Baker. And let's get the TV chart out. And 41 for Baker, driver, praises TV sponsor in TV segment placement C. So trophy driver goes to the blue die position, in the middle group. And that will be 1. So Baker qualifies in 8th place, and Stu Urich. And 46 for Stu. Hot Weekend, Hot Laps, placement B, plus a performance chip, and gold or silver driver in placement A. And he is a silver driver. And he will get the blue die position in the group and a performance chip, so he is the second qualifier. That sets him in a great position for this week's race to get back in the winner's circle potentially. Billy Brett is next, and 33. And 33 is going to be a TV Event X. And 52, TV Event X, driver expresses dissatisfaction with car, placement D. And placement D means you go to the top of the bubble stack. So the rambunctious Billy Brett, not a surprise he ends up there, very outspoken and not always popular amongst his fellow drivers. Chase Fetterman, the youngster, looking to make a big splash here. He rolls a 64. And suspension problems during qualifying, placement D. Of course he did. But in the bubble group second position, a pretty good chance he'll get in the race there. Next up, another non-trophy driver, Alex Hodge, and 55 is going to take him to TV Event Y. And 23, TV Event Y, driver calls out opponent, placement C. And whoever ends up in the group with him, so placement C, trophy driver gains blue position middle group, non-trophy driver on top of bubble stack, placed at top of bubble stack. So Hodge, and his opponent next to him in the bubble stack is none other than Billy Brett, whose mouth has already created some waves. So they're going to have a little tit for tat going on, and we will put Hodge as fuming. Billy Brett has not responded, but Hodge. And that's the number 78 car. So we'll see how that, if anything comes of that. Clark Snook up next, and he's going to show you how you handle TV Week to these young guys. So Snook with a roll of 14, positive fan interaction during race week and solid times. Placement B, gold driver, placement A. And that means Clark Snook is going to take the pole position. And should that shock anyone, as Snook knows how to make the best of TV Week scenarios. 32, team cohesion during race week, placement A plus performance chip, so KJ Nakashima. And he is going to get the blue die position in the middle group. That is still an outstanding qualification for him. And the performance chip to boot. So now our two selected TV drivers. First, Craig Greco. Special ran on him regarding his pit crew. He gets a 34. And tire problem during qualifying, and there you go. So that exquisite pit crew, the revamped and wonderful praised pit crew, screws up his tires, and he goes to the bubble stack for that. I doubt we will see another special on them the rest of this season. And last week's race winner, Joey Plonka. And Joey, a 26 hot week and hot laps, placement A plus performance chip. So Plonka, and he is going to gain the blue die position in the top group, which is number 3, plus the performance chip. So there we have our TV distribution, and next we will go to the fast qualifiers. And we're going to have 9 of them. Okay, gold. So pole position or highest available position in top group goes to Cam Croyle. And Lucas Vanover, bronze, highest position in middle group available. He slides in next to Denny Baker there. Julie Justice, gold. She's going to get the highest available, which is 5th place in the top group. Marlon McGarry, spoken about in the opener as somewhat struggling mid-pack, gets the 6th place position. And Corey Wallace, he gets the next position in the bottom group. So he is in the race and just outside of the top 20 in qualifying. And Aaron Hartley, driving for Team Exum, his 2nd consecutive start. And he is going to go into the middle group. Right behind Lucas Vanover and Blake Schlegel. Goes to the next position in bottom group, joined by Ralph Roach, who will qualify. And the feud between Pine and Roach has kind of diffused. Last week Roach did not qualify, so that kind of eased the tension, and they have made amends. In fact, we have no feuding drivers this week. And Vic Holder, silver, he will get the next available position in top group, and that fills out the top group. So now we have our slow qualifiers, and 6 of them. And this is a position that nobody wants to be in here. So gold and Mooch Thomas, man. Once again, the Mooch, the veteran, and he's just hanging on there, a low budget, low dollar team, and he fails to qualify again. Rod Phillips, an alternate driver on the 3-headed monster, fails to qualify, so he will probably be replaced next week. And Graham Pleasant, he gets the next position in the bubble stack as a bronze. And Kevin Pettis, he's going to join him on the bubble stack, older brother of Jordy and not quite as accomplished. And Evan Utek, And he's going to go in the bubble stack as well. And Nick Fenstermacher, third week in a row, failed to qualify. So we might be seeing a special on him next week, and everybody else normal qualifying. So let's fill in the field here. And Jackson Leonard. And Leonard, highest position in middle group. He will be in at 11th. Wayne Montana, and there is no positions in the top group, so he goes to 12th. Pete McAtee, the veteran, right behind him. Two veterans there in that row, in fact. And Paul Chen, he goes to the bubble stack and is in danger of not qualifying again. Sean Hashhagen, he goes to the bottom group. Tom Rossi joins Hashhagen there. Sunny Swain, and Sunny, her worst result thus far in qualifying. That will potentially hurt her top 5 standing. Jeff Daly goes to the middle group, 14th spot. Kurt Bryson, 15th, right behind him. And Parnell Drake up there in 17th. And Jordy Pettis in 18th place. And Jordy had a rough week last week. And Robbie Petrosky. So everyone else is going to go in the bottom group as the top groups are filled out. Well, unless they are a non-trophy driver, of course, then they go to the bubble stack. So Monica Merrick, Trevor Trostel, Kenny Hicks on the bubble, Greg Carl bottom stack, Gary Pine bottom stack, and Ray Bob Walker. Some big names there in the bottom stack. Marty Moan, bubble. Randy Kendrick, bottom stack. And Brooks Bilovich, bottom stack. Austin Bigler. Chris Wynn. And Kerry Cacchiola. And Cacchiola, very popular with the fans and sponsors. Nicknamed him Suave, and he perhaps is getting a little Johnny Manziel-like off the track. Needs to focus on racing. He has not been very successful. Lonnie Lane, Chuck Tafaro, and Mark Forth, and we're going to have quite a few, and Donnie Schrupp is not going to qualify again. So in the bottom group, we have to have close to 20 drivers here. And 18 to be exact, so only 6 from the bubble group will join them. And they are in order: Alex Hodge, Billy Brett, Chase Fetterman, and Fetterman in there for the first time this year. Craig Greco, and the final 2, Graham Pleasant and Kevin Pettis. And Evan Utek, a trophy driver, does not qualify, nor does Paul Chen, Kenny Hicks, Marty Moan, Mark Forth, and once again Johnny Schrupp. So they will be pulling up a chair and grabbing a cold brew along with the rest of us and watching the race this week. And that concludes our race week activities. And with that, we are ready to drop the checkered flag here and get in a few laps in part 1 of this video. From the Sun King Speedway, gentlemen, start your dice. The Suncoast Capital 400, and here we go. Turn number 1 as the green flag drops. And top group 3, and that is going to be a trouble check, so right away. Fresh out of the gate, and we have some issues going on here. So starting with the race leader, Mark Snook. He needs a 10 to escape, or Clark Snook, sorry. Does so. Stu Urich a 10, and he had a chip anyway. Croyle a 10, makes it. Joey Plonka a 9, and he's good. Julie Justice an 11, solid. Marlon McGarry, 8, and he's good. Vic Holder, a 7. Will anyone be collected? Vic Holder will be. So we will have a 1-turn yellow if he crashes here. And he is a pit of B, so in the first third of the race, he needs to roll a 10 or less to stay in. And he does so, but he is bumped to the back of the pack. And actually, there will be a yellow flag for 1 turn, so everybody will move up. Denny Baker, Hartley, Leonard, Montana, McAtee Daly, Bryson, KJ Yakashima with the performance chip, and Drake Pettis Piotrowski. And from the bottom group, joining our top 19 will be Corey Wallace. And turn 2 is under yellow. We move on to turn 3. And top group again, and 8 is going to be a smart check. So smart check, and Denny Baker, he says that is I. And to overtake Snook, Snook is just deadly when he's in the lead and you do not have a performance chip. He's got the 2 brake bubbles, got the 2 brake bonus, and he's got every trait, so it's going to take a blue 6 to even get up there. Fends off Baker. Here comes McGarry trying on the inside, and he's fended off as well. Julie Justice doesn't even try, and Cam Kroll is going to give it a shot on his bumper. And Snook cuts him off, and Stu Urich, he's got a double shot here, plus the chip. And he's not going to do it. He's going to spend that chip early and vault into the lead. So Clark Snook knocked down to 2nd place. And Urich up there also with 2 bubbles. So it'll take at least a 5, depending on the check, to knock him off. And heading into turn 4. So up top, jockeying for the lead, and Urich takes it over on lap number 4. And Clark Snook held it for 1 through 3. And we'll re-roll that. And going to the top group, and 9 is a star quality. And star, and a few of them in this group, and Denny Baker's going to give it a shot first. And again, Urich does not have that quality, so you'll only have to roll a 5 to have a shot, and he's going to get it. So Baker shoots up, passes on the gas pedal check, and overtakes Urich. So again, we have a leader. Urich led for 1 lap, and lap number 5 we'll have a new one. McGarry, he's got double star quality, so he's going to have 2 shots to do it. And for Baker, it'll also take a roll of 5. And that's exactly what McGarry got. So a lot of jockeying up front, swapping paint. Baker back into 6th place. And Julie Justice, she's coming hard next. And again, this will take a 5, 2 stars, a brake pedal, and the bonus. So it'll take a 6 actually to pass. And Justice does not. Joey Plonka does not have the star quality. Cam Croyle. Croyle gives it a shot. Nope. And Clark Snook, last chance. And Gary will hold on to the lead here in lap number 5. So we head to lap 6. And the 91 car now assumes the lead. Lap after this, we will have a pit stop. And we're staying in the top group. And we have a problem result as well. So 12 is going to be a rare, and what we're going to do first is resolve the problem. So we will go on the problem finder chart. And the red die, and that's going to be Joey Plonka. And Plonka, the problem, 31, handling problem, roll for repair. So Plonka does have a chip though, and repair he needs to get A crew, so 1 to 11, he'll be good. And Plonka, no issues there, and with that though, He will go to the back of the pack, and he's going to lose his chip for that, and the chip could have saved him on the repair roll, but it's not going to stop him from dropping to the back of the race pack. So we will move up. Justice, Baker, and passing a gas check to move up from the second group. Lewis Vanover needs a 3. No, Aaron Hartley a 4, and Hartley does it. So second drivers move up a spot. And coming up from group number 3, Blake Schlegel needs to roll a 3 or less, and Schlegel joins the top 19. And we will now roll for the rare event. So rare results, top group, here we go. Red and white is a 24 and driver flagged for aggressive driving. Move to end of bottom group. So we now have to, again, identify a driver finder. And top group will be the driver that is the offender, unless it's doubles, which is race leader. So Uric, from feast to famine, he goes down. And again, moving up, and we'll have to do the fill the gap check. Vanover doesn't get it. Leonard. And Leonard's going to move back into the top 7. So a lot of early shuffling, some problems and violations here early on. So coming up out of the bottom group, Ralph Roach. The tempestuous one had the issues with Gary Pine, and he's now in the top 19. And that so concludes turn number 6, and we are going to head for the pits now. And rolling on the pit stop, and everything is staying in the top group at this point in time. So 4 and 6 are going to swap places. So Baker and Leonard. Leonard just joined the top 7. And down here, Schlegel and Roach are going to move up and overtake Pettis and Parnell Drake. And now in the top group, we will roll for fast pits, starting with McGarry. And he needs a 7, gets it. Clark Snook, a 9 or better, does not. Cam Croyle, an 8, just gets his. Julie Justice, a 10, gets it. And Jason Leonard, a 6, and he rolls a 6. So one of the young guns there, and Aaron Hartley, speaking of young guns, he needs a 6, and he gets a chip. And finally, Denny Baker needs a 4, and just misses out on that. And now challenging the race leader, and that's going to come from Aaron Hartley in the 5th spot, boldly challenging McGarry. And he does not pass, and we'll roll to see if he uses a chip to try and succeed on that. And again, the side or die, yes they do, no they don't, so nobody loses a chip, and we are on to turn 7. So no ultra drama yet, but a lot of shuffling up front and some good exciting bumper to bumper racing. And still in the top group, 2 and a 5 is going to be reflex check. And reflex, we are going to go all the way down to Julie Justice, who says, I do not like Duran Duran, but I'm going to do this reflex check anyway. And to pass McGarry, McGarry does not have reflex. He's got the bonus and the brake bubble there, so it's going to take 4 or better on the blue die. And that qualifies, but McGarry can use his chip, so we will see if both drivers do. And neither driver does, which means Julie Justice will take over first place. And moving down, Cam Croyle next. And Croyle Injustice needs a 6 to be successful there. Not successful. We'll see if Croyle attempts to use his chip. He does not. And finally, Clark Snook. And Snook. Snook is going to be successful, and Justice, he does not have a chip, but Justice is going to use hers to fend him off. And we are done with turn 8, on to turn 9. And everything thus far has been up in the front. The back two packs kind of stagnant. And not this time. We have a duel going on. And duel is number 4 car in the middle group. So number 4 car in the middle group. And that is going to be Roach and Schlegel. What a combo they are. Both of them with 3 on the gas pedal. And Schlegel is going to be Smart. Actually, what I'm going to go by there is the heat quality. Roach, usually one we would think would do that because of his dueling in the past, but Schlegel's going to give it a shot. He's going for Vanover. So a roll of 3 or less, and he does so. So Schlegel gets the performance chip, and Vanover now has to make a roll for an escape. And escape's going to be 7 or less, and Vanover does not and has to make a repair roll. He's going to get bumped. And first third of the race, a D pit crew will be an 8 or less, and he is good, so he goes to the back of the pack. And no yellow flag on that, so Roach moves up, Petrosky moves up, and coming out of the bottom group, Hashhagen has to roll against his gas pedal. He does not make it. Tom Rossi. And Rossi does, so Rossi jumps into 19th place. A little bit of fender bashing there, and we are up to lap 10. And we're going to go to lap 15 in this one before we call it an end to part 1 of the video. We'll give a couple of reasonably length videos to watch. And 6, we have another duel, and 5 on the roll there. And number 5 car in the top group. And Hartley's going to go after Snook. So Hartley has to roll a 4 or less, does so, and bumps Snook, and earns the performance chip. That gives him 2. And Snook is going to have to make an escape roll here, and he is successful. On to turn 11. And finally, the back group, a 4, and that is going to be a heat check. So starting from the back, Vanover, no, does not have it. And we will set this up here. Vanover does not, Urich does not, Joey Plonka, no, Vic Holder, no, Kevin Pettis, no. Graham Pleasant, anyone who is named Pleasant can't have the heat quality anyway. Craig does not. Chase Fetterman, no. And we know Billy Brett does, the cantankerous and rambunctious Alabama assassin. So he's going to give it a shot here. He needs to roll a 4 to get into the second group, and does so, going for the 5th position odd, however. And Parnell Drake also has the heat check, so he's going to fight him off. They swap a little bit of paint, and he's forced to fall back. Alex Hodge does not, and Chuck DeFaro does, so he's going to give it a shot, come up for a place in the middle group, and passes a gas pedal check and going 4 odd. And that's going to be Robbie Petrosky, and he's going to pass Petrosky, supplant him. That's what I meant to say, in 15th place. Lonnie Lane does not have the heat check. Kerry Capiola does not. The only thing he does not have. Chris Wynn, no. And Austin Bigler. So Bigler trying to force his way into contention here. And he passes the gas check, and he's going 4 odd as well. So he's coming right after Chuck DeFaro, and DeFaro has a brake, bubble, and the heat check, but a 4 is going to get it done. So Bigler knocks him off, sends him back to the back of the classroom. And Brooks Bilovich, we know he has a heat check and he cannot pass the gas pedal check. Kendrick. And Kendrick going for the 5th even position, and that is going to be Corey Wallace, and that's going to get it done with a 1 because Wallace, well, he's just not that skilled of a driver. And Ray Bob Walker, the wily NASCAR veteran, he can get nasty when he has to, and he does not pass the gas pedal check. Gary Pine, he's got his eyes on his old nemesis Ralph Roach, but he does not have the heat quality, so that's all he's going to have on him this turn. Greg Carl, he's ready to go. And Carl does not pass the gas pedal check. Trevor Trostel, he's too nice a guy for any of that. Monica Merrick, no. And Sunny Swain, we know she has heat with nobody. And Sean Hashhagen. So that concludes turn 11. We head to turn 12, and things are status quo up front. Looking to heat up here. And 3 and a 7, and finally the middle group gets involved, and they're going to go control. So the control skill, and that is the number 2 skill here, and Jordy Pettis sensing an opportunity to get into that first group. And passes a gas pedal check. He is going for number 3 and 2. He's going to be thwarted. McGarry has both control and the gas pedal rating, so all for naught there. And that gets us up to Austin Bigler, who just recently joined the middle group. Bigler, here he comes, putting the gas down. He passes a gas pedal check. He's going after Jason Leonard there. And he's going to be successful in his pass, but Leonard fends him off with a performance chip. And he falls back into 15th place. KJ Nakashima, one of 2 traits he has, would be something to see him jump in. He passes a gas pedal check, going for that 4th spot. And Jason Leonard, he's got control, but that's all he has. Cannot fight off Nakashima. And a surprise visitor to the top 7 in 5th place now, KJ Nakashima. Kurt Bryson has his eyes set on moving up. He fails a gas pedal check, and no control for Jeff Daly. Pete McAtee, SCRAM veteran, he's always good to go. Passes the gas pedal. He's going for the 5th slot up here, which would be Clark Snook, and rolls a 3. And Snook, 2 gas pedal bubbles and double control plus the bonus, and nope. McAtee is forced to fall back into the middle group. Here comes Wayne Montana, and Montana blue 1 will automatically fail due to the top group bonus. And Blake Schlegel has a chip, but that's all he's got going for him, a little bit of heat. So on to turn 13 now, and coming up on the end of part 1 of this video. Middle group again, 3 and an 8. This is going to be a smart check. And smart check starts with Tom Rossi. And Rossi does not pass the gas pedal check, so he stays put, and up to Randy Kendrick. And Kendrick, smart and heat is a very interesting combination for a driver to have. He passes the gas pedal check, and he's shooting for Aaron Hartley. And a 4, 1 bonus there, and 2 for smart, so he's going to have to use a performance chip to keep his spot, which he does. And his mentor, Dick Exum, is smiling from pit row. And up now to Jason Leonard. And Leonard looking to surprise some people here, and he passes his gas check going for the 5th spot, Clark Snook. And Snook has double control and would need to be a 6, is not a 6. So he gave it a gallant try, but Snook is a veteran and he is good, fights him off. So 2 for Bryson, passes going for the 2nd position, and 1's not going to get it done. And down to Pete McAtee, and McAtee again the wily veteran. He passes the gas pedal check and going for the 4th spot, and KJ Nakashima, He's got the smart bonus and a brake bonus, so he's going to have to use his performance chip to stay in the top group, which he does. And that wraps it up. So not too much a note there, and we are into the second third of the race now, and turn 14. And top group, back to the top group again. 7's going to be a control check. And control, that's right up Clark Snook's alley. He's going to look to make something happen here. Eyes on Julie Justice. And Justice also has the double control and 2 brake pedals and the 2 brake bonus there. 5 is as high as you can get, so 6 is going to be needed to overtake her. And you have to roll the right dice to do that first of all. And not going to happen for Snook. And a very slim chance for KJ Nakashima. He cannot pass his gas pedal check. And McGarry in possession of a chip here. And 4, 3, and 5, the blue die will stop him, but he's going to use his chip and bump Julie Justice back. So Justice led from lap 6 up to lap 14. And lap 15 we will have a new leader. Will it remain Marlon McGarry? We shall see. But Cam Croyle, he has a performance chip as well and passes a gas pedal check. Not enough to pass McGarry, so he spends his chip. And got a little bit of action, some shuffling reminiscent of early in the race going on for the top spot. And finally, Aaron Hartley, and Hartley be the first time in first place for a Team Exum member. And he doesn't pass the gas pedal check, but you know what? He's going to use his chip. And he says, I want to see what it's like from the penthouse. So he takes the elevator up, and he's got the view as we finish turn 14. So, heading into the final turn, part 1 of this video. Again, this will be a 2-parter. Aaron Hartley likes the view from up front, and we will see if he remains there, at least for now. And staying in the top group, chances I would say are slim, as we're going to do a skill check. And skill check number 3, going to start with Denny Baker. And Baker does not pass the gas pedal check. Clark Snook, he says, I'd like to get that first place spot back. And Snook doesn't pass the gas pedal check. So Hartley, he's up there being scrappy and fighting everyone off. Nakashima does not have it. Julie Justice, she's looking to claim that spot back, which she just lost, and she doesn't pass the gas pedal check. So Hartley against all odds here, and that's going to be it. He holds on through turn 15. That's a little bit of a shocker there. So when we come back with part 2, that's how we will stand. And Aaron Hartley will be in first place, followed by Cam Croyle, Marlon McGarry, Julie Justice, KJ Nakashima, Clark Snook, and Denny Baker. That is our top group. And the only notable right now, actually he's not even notable, the only driver with a chip is the journeyman, somewhat untalented Blake Schlegel, and everybody else is just going on natural ability and skill right now. So hope you enjoyed part 1 of the Suncoast Capital 400, and part 2 will be up early in the morning, and we will have 25 turns left to go in this race, and we'll get that completed in short order, definitely inside of an hour, probably around 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And then don't forget, tomorrow also be not really much to talk about in terms of development of Glory Days Boxing, but we have made some tweaks to the game chart based on feedback from the first couple of videos, the early look, if you will, the alpha look at the game. And so made a change to the scoring chart and the event chart, the only chart really that is needed with the game. And just to make it easier to disseminate the scoring and determine which corners and which corner scoring how many points. Before the tables were stacked, I moved them side to side, added some indicators, and just kind of move things around to make it a little bit cleaner. And some tweaks on the boxer card again as well. Again, just cosmetic stuff. I'm just kind of getting a feel of what looks nice, what gives the game a good feel. So again, I'll be looking forward to any comments or feedback on that. And probably looking at maybe even doing that live around 9 a.m. Arizona time, which is West Coast time. And if not, if I have to do it sooner, it'll definitely be posted around that time in the morning. So those are the next two things coming up. Part 2 of this race, the Suncoast Capital 400, and a cosmetic change update on Glory Days Boxing, which will, by the way, feature a 10-round bout between the GOAT, Muhammad Ali, and the Boston Strong Boy, John L. Sullivan. So a very interesting clash of styles there. Crude brawler versus artistic Rembrandt with the gloves. And early money on Ali in that, and I'd have to agree with it. So until then, keep rolling for the finish line. And if you're playing baseball, roll for the fences. And whatever you do, go high. And we will see you in the morning. Take care, all.